Hey guys, Untapped or Go here with another deck for Historic, and today we're playing Best of One Historic Event, and I wanted to bring Mono Blue Mill in excitement and preparation for Rise's Zendikar, which is right around the corner, introducing new cards for the archetype. So we built our deck today around Bruvac, the Grandiloquent. It doubles all of our mill effects, and we have so many options. All 4 copies of Secret Keeper, all 4 copies of Wall of Lost Thoughts. These are both essentially the same creature. 4 copies of Winds of Rebuke. This is our Brazen Borrower type effect. We don't get the creature half, but it mills our opponent. That's good. All 4 copies of Drowned Secrets. Our entire deck is blue, so it's going to trigger off of everything we cast. All 4 copies of Compelling Argument. Mills 5, and we can cycle it for 1. This is actually a placeholder card for the new 2-mana Mill 8 that's coming out in Rise's Zendikar. I'm really excited to play with. All 4 copies of Bruvac, because we want to see it as often as possible. All 4 copies of Teferi's Tutelage, because this draws us a card, and whenever we draw a card, we're milling our opponent, which is going to add up as well. 2 copies of Didn't Say Please, because we want a hard counter, unconditional, mills our opponent. 2 copies of Whelming Wave. This deals with all of our opponent's creatures. Essentially, we can bounce creature tokens into Oblivion. We can bounce creatures that have been enchanted a lot. We can bounce big creatures, small creatures, creatures with hexproof, indestructible, everything. We can get rid of everything and just kind of slow our opponent down to kind of hopefully give us the last few turns we need to close out the game. Then we have 4 copies of Into the Story. This is a 4-mana draw 4 for us at instant speed most of the time, because our opponents are going to have 7 cards in their graveyard, hopefully. Otherwise, we're not playing the deck right. So this is going to help us refill and find the rest of the cards that we need to hopefully finish the game off. And then finish off with our mana base. 2 copies of Castle Vantress for Scry. 2 Deserts of the Mindful to pair with the 4 copies of Ipnu Rivulet. This allows us to sacrifice deserts to make target player mill 4 cards. I wanted to maximize the number of deserts here, so that's why I played 2 copies here. 10 copies of Islands, 2 copies of Mystic Sanctuary. When this comes into play untapped, we get to rebuy any instant or sorcery from our graveyard, which is pretty good. Playing a fun-of copy of Riptide Laboratory, this allows us to return target wizard we control to our owner's hand. The only wizard in the entire deck is Merfolk Secret Keeper, and in theory, bouncing the Merfolk Secret Keeper so you can rebuy on the adventure half. 2 copies of Field of Ruin to deal with our opponent's non-basic lands, such as a flip search for Azcanta, castles, and such. And then to finish off the mana base, we have 1 copy of Scavenger Grounds. In case that our opponent is playing a Grave Matter strategy, such as creatures with Escape Uro or something, or Mill or Reanimator, we have a get out of jail free card in the sense that we can just nuke our opponent's graveyard and be done with it once and for good. And that is the deck. So I hope you guys enjoy, and if you do, please consider leaving a like and a comment, as well as subscribe and hitting that bell for notifications for more content like this. And let's take it in and see how we do. Alright, going into game 1 against Drudgen. Okay. Either way. Alright, this hand seems okay. We have some early mill, some interaction, board wipe, quote unquote, and a draw 4. So we're going to keep this and give it a shot and see how we do. Always say hello to the pup. God bless you. The best pup. Go ahead and start off with the desert tapped. And our opponent's on goblins, so the Whelming Wave might actually come in handy. That was a good draw for us. Start with the Drowned Secrets. Our opponent might also just have like the absolute nut draw rate. Goblin Instigator, maybe? Huh. Okay. Opponent with the draw there. Go ahead and play Wall of Lost Thoughts, mill our opponent. And we hit some decent stuff. Go ahead and pass, and I might cycle this for the draw because we need to find our 4th land. Our opponent also already has pay the life here. Opponent also already has 7 cards in their graveyard or more. Go ahead and block the bigger one. Alright, so we found our other land. I'm not sure if Whelming Wave is actually necessary right this second, so I'm just going to pass it up. See what our opponent does. Alright, so our opponent's on the Muxus plan already. Very quick. Gonna resolve. Not a very good hit for our opponent, all things considered. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and into the story here. A Whelming Wave now. Bounce all over our opponent's stuff. And then I think we go ahead and mill our opponent for 6. So our opponent can play Scourge Prospector and the Goblin Instigator and start chaining off mana again. Whelming Wave is only going to buy us a turn or two. It's not going to stop our opponent from doing the thing that they do. Another Winds of Rebuke for us. Pretty good draw. Let's go ahead and start stacking these up. DrownSecrets.deck, everybody. Alright, and now I'm just going to hold up the Winds of Rebuke for potentially their Muxus or whatever haste outlet that they might draw into. We need to kind of try to keep the pressure off us as much as possible here. Okay. Alright. So, actually I can't do that yet. So I have to wait until in response to declare attacks. Alright, pass 2 attacks. Gonna bounce the Goblin Warchief. Mill our opponent for 6 plus the 2, so 8 total. Alright, so our opponent gets in for 3. And that's actually just game, straight up. Go ahead and mill our opponent for 6. Good game from our opponent. He was a very good sport about it. I appreciate it, for sure. Go ahead and mill our opponent for 10. I'll pay the life. We did it, guys. We beat goblins. Good game, opponent. All right, on to the next one. So in between game 1 and 2, my green screen actually got delivered, so I hooked it up and I got the chroma key all set up. So this is going to be hopefully the future setup from now on, and I hope it looks more clean and nice. Anyway, going into game 2 against, I'm not even going to pronounce it. I'm not going to try. This hand seems okay. We have at least 7. We have all 7 mil right here. Or, I'm sorry, 6. We have 6. We only need 1 more card to mill for this to be 4 mana. Which we could rely on the Ibni Riplet, but I don't know if I really want to do that. Say hello to the pup. Alright, our opponent's on green, and it doesn't seem like they're doing too much, so we're going to go ahead and start milling. Alright, so our opponent's on mono green. This deck's definitely going to be aggressive. It's a good thing we're on to play. I imagine that they're going to be playing some Questing Beasts Maybe Shifting Ceratops. Shifting Ceratops would just be brutal for us. We wouldn't have much of a chance. So because of that fact, I think I need to get this down and really start milling our opponent as fast as possible, because we need to close this game out quick, I think. There's a Questing Beast. That could be a lot worse. Our Winds of Rebuke gets better. We can bounce it in response to their going to combat. That is really good draw for us. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go ahead and pass it. Hopefully they try to play like a fight effect or something to try to kill off Bruvac, and I can just bounce it in response. That might actually be like a game swinging decision. Okay, Incubation Druid for our opponent. Okay. So we're in a pretty good spot. Go ahead and bounce this. And yeah, I guess, no, I mean, I should save this, right? Bouncing their mana dorks doesn't really matter at this point. It's another good draw for us. Go ahead and mill our opponent for 8. Pass it up. I might actually take the 4 damage here if all he plays is Questing Beast. Just so I can draw the 4. Comes Nissa. Okay. I mean, I could still take 4 here. I mean, we have no way of really truly interacting with any of their stuff anyway, so alright, yeah, so we'll go ahead and throw the 0-4 in front of the 3-3 and just take the 4 damage. And yeah, we just probably just drew into like almost lethal here. This helps us. Go ahead and start off with Drowned Secrets. Mill our opponent for 10, 14 total. What could I rebuy here? Rebuy the Compelling Argument. That would win me the game next turn. Now, by playing that, actually hurts us more than helps us, so I think we just go ahead and get another blocker out. Mill our opponent just a little bit more, pass it up. Our opponent's down to 17. We milled them from 30, it was like 36 or something, beginning of that turn, 37, down to 17 in 1 turn cycle. This deck is going to be crazy once the rest of the Zendikar stuff hits. Having Hedron Crab and like, well, basically Hedron Crab. Aw, Gem Razor. Boo, you're no fun, opponent. That's okay. I'll just have to cast that first on my... Oh no, they destroyed it. I mean, I thought it... Yeah, I'm just going to have to deal with this. The Great Hinge is actually good for us. I see that they play it first, or they played it second, so they didn't get the draw of a Gem Razor, so we were going up against somewhat a smart opponent. Every draw that they have is going to hurt them. Speaking of hurt, this attack step is going to hurt. So we're guaranteed to take 4. Oh, God. That's really bad for us. Can we afford to not attack or not block with Bruvac? No, we're going to have to. I should have saved the Winds of Rebuke. Okay, well, this has trample, so that's we're gonna have to do it. I think we're still dead regardless. Yep, good game, opponent. Yeah, if I saved the Winds of Rebuke, it could have saved us one more turn. But I'm not sure if we would have had it just off of that turn cycle. I don't know. Misplays for days. Alright, going into a quick queue of game 3 against Time is Running Out. Oh man, if 2020 were a caption, Time is Running Out. Alright, so we're going to try this. Just specifically because of the Riptide double Secret Keeper combo. Let's get it. Ooh, do I want to start with Desert of the Mindful? No. No patience. I want to mill my opponent. Sultai Oro. Gave him a turn for Oro very quickly. Scavenger Grounds would be really good here. I may actually go down the Desert of the Mindful and just go up a couple copies of the Scavenger Grounds, because maybe having access to that on a whim is probably just better off than just coming into play tapped just to get the value off of the Rivulet. I guess I'll go ahead and play this one tapped. Our opponent with the hello, they were very impatient. Give them the thinking. Here we go. Our opponent must be a little salty of what we're doing here. Wouldn't you be? And our opponent's still not doing much of anything. This is a counterspell. Growth Spiral, right? You play the cards. You play the cards that everybody plays. Right? Like, I'm spending 2 mana on a Wall of Lost Thoughts, people. Like, a Wall of Lost Thoughts. And our opponent's going to play Carbon Copy, Carbon Copy, Carbon Copy. Wow, no Growth Spiral either. What were they holding priority for? Eliminate? Heartless Act? Like, oh, I don't feel like killing a 0-4. And it begins. Oh, if I rip Scavenger Grounds off the top. Oh, that would have been so good, though. Okay. Well, our opponent definitely has removal. I don't think it's worth playing this into that yet, especially since we don't have too many ways of getting mill out of it. Go ahead and play the Riptide. Costs 3 to activate, so we actually have enough mana to play this Secret Keeper and bounce 1 at the end step. As much as I really want to play Bruvac there, seeing what our opponent's playing, I know that they're just going to end up killing it. Alright, our opponent with as many resources as it could possibly need. Start off with Growth Spiral. Man, these decks are going to become so toxic once the new DFC split cards come out. Oh, man. They're just going to play like 40 lands and only like 20, 24 will be real lands or whatever, 25, whatever, and then the rest will just be all the DFCs. Alright, our opponent with the draw, the gain life, and the landfall. Alright, so still no attacks. I actually think I'm going to Riptide Laboratory of the Secret Keeper. Let's get our Bruvac down now, might as well. Just pass it up. In response to attacks, I will Windsor Rebuke. And our opponent's doing like their thing anyway, so they're going to be drawing so many cards. They're actually helping us out. Pretty significant amount. Alright. Go ahead and bounce this. In response, they're probably going to kill Bruvac. No? Alright, well that's good for us. Shark Typhoon for our opponent. We're not going to use this turn. Main phase this. There's a Scavenger Grounds. That's really good for us. That helps significantly. So I can keep out the Winds of Rebuke. Or actually, I could just bounce their Shark Typhoon now. Time Walk them, essentially. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'll send a message with the 0-4. Here comes Nissa. If we're lucky, our opponent plays the Uro out of their hand. Nah, they're escaping one. That's okay. They get their draw, they get to do their thing. I mean, they can make a 3-3 and try and attack, but I mean, I'll just block. Ooh, Thoughtseize from our opponent. They have a lot of choices. To be honest, I'm not sure Into the Story was the right pick. Because they need to kill Bruvac or they're just, I think they're just dead. So we can double cast this and mill them for 16. Depending on what we draw as well. And I may be inclined to... Ooh. No, that's not what we want to do. Okay. Tap this for a blue. You mill 8 cards, please. Down 14. Play this and mill them for another 8. Okay. That's fair. So I can bounce the Secret Keeper and replay it this turn, mill them for another 8. puts them down to 6 plus the draw step, so they'll be down to 5. Or I can exile the graveyard, which I actually don't think is really all that necessary. Okay, so pay the blue, colorless. Go ahead and return this guy. Replay him for that juicy value. And no attacks. It was a long turn to kind of not do a whole lot. Them countering our Wall of Lost Thoughts actually kept them alive. So they're down to 5 cards. They fail to fetch with their Fabled Passage. I actually don't think that they can win here because just by playing their win condition, they're just going to lose. And our opponent decides to give up. Alright, going into game 4 against Lost My Marbles. Same, dude. Same. Lost My Marbles 87. 93, dog. Alright, so this is a bad combination of cards on my opening hand, isn't it? I really like this, and this. This is just an incredibly slow start. I could play the desert, so I have the mana, but actually this isn't terrible. Like, I could start with Castle Vantress, depending on what my draw is, and just start with it into play tapped, so I can guarantee having the 2 mana on turn 2. It doesn't seem bad. I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. Great shark sleeves with a mountain. Interesting choice for our opponent. And they're on the mono red goblin plan. These new rivulets get a little worse, but only a little bit. Start off with the Wall of Lost Thoughts. Thankfully, jeez, gave it to him. Just straight up gave it to him. Our next, at least we drew our land, so we get to play our Teferi's Tutelage as well. We don't have too many turns to deal with this. Alright, block a 2-2 or a 2-2. I think I'll choose the 2-2, thanks. Alright, Bruvac's pretty good. That helps speed up the clock. And they are able to play Muxus, I believe, this turn. There's a Prospector. Another land here would be really good for the Whelming Wave. Okay, so they have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have enough mana, they can play Muxus, but it would empty their entire board first. That's pretty good. Our opponent could have tapped the Conspicuous Snoop to make a couple of goblins here too. Get our opponent with the nice, they saved us a few extra points of damage. I might Whelming Wave here anyway if I can find the land. So they can't play Muxus next turn. Well, I guess they could just, alright, yeah, they're just gonna dunk it now. That works better for us actually. Yep. It's pretty good. Sure. Please let me get that land. Please, 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 Magic Gods. Please, 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 Magic Gods, let me get this land. This would be so good right now. Yeah! Oh! It's tapped! No! I am taking this card out of my deck immediately. No! Oh, man. Alright, so if I play this tapped, am I just dead? Like, I'm just dead, right? I could play a bunch of Secret Keepers. I have to pay the life. That's fine. It's probably gonna save me. I mean, paying the 1 life. No, I don't want to mill. No. I mean, I want to mill, but I can't. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead and slam all these down, chump block where I can, and try to stay alive for 1 more turn to be able to Whelming Wave and try to slow our opponent down. They're just gonna be able to re-slam their Goblin War Chief though, so we're definitely in a bad spot. Yeah, this is probably just lethal. I mean, they have, yeah. Good game, opponent. You did the thing. I'm gonna block this. Just gonna go ahead and do the blocks anyway, just in case. You know, just in case that 7 plus 15, you know, 22 damage isn't enough to kill me, but I am cutting this desert and I am putting in scavenger grounds as soon as this tournament is over. Trust. Alright, so we're currently 2-2, going into game 5 against Somnambulist. Somnambulist? Opponent's on the play. This hand's pretty bad, right? I could start with a temple so I don't have to worry about losing to it again. I have some mill. Double Bruvac in case our opponent deals with it. It's very tutelage. I mean, this hand's okay. I just hope our next few draws are good. Say hello to the pup. Tap. Crocs for our opponent. I guess I'll go ahead and discard the second copy of Bruvac. I could get the mill down, but I actually want to save it because I think having the double effect will be more impactful. Alright, Llanowar Elves for our opponent. Well, I'm not really sure what they're up to, so I guess I'm just going to go ahead and bounce this now. Slow down their mana acceleration. Player Bruvac. Alright. Play Teferi's Tutelage. Collect a company for our opponent. Interesting. Double Regisar. Probably like the best. Just like the best thing they could have hit, right? Okay, well, let's pass it up. Man, double Regisar is pretty good. I mean, I'm just gonna not take it. If they have Embercleave, we're just dead. Alright, cycle. I know I wanted to go for the mill 10. So we're dead next turn regardless, no matter what. $35 cards for our opponent. This is gonna mill 16. There's the Embercleave, so they did have it. Opponent's down to 19. And I can only mill them for 4 more. Let's go ahead and give our opponent a good game. Yeah, they just didn't hit double rotting Regisaur off the Collected Company. I mean, that was like the dream. That's art. Like, how are you supposed to beat that? I don't think I could beat that even if I had interaction. It's really good. All right, guys, welcome back with the wrap up. Unfortunately, couldn't take it into another game because I didn't realize that was our third loss. But we went 2-3, pretty mediocre. And like I said, Mill isn't competitive by any means. It's always like on the verge of being like tier 2, tier 1, but it's just never quite there. I think that's going to change with Rise of Zendikar. So once that set drops, we're going to definitely revisit this deck. But a lot of things that I would already make decisions of, I want to cut these completely. I hate them. I wish I didn't put them in the deck. I think I'm just going to go up another copy of Scavenger Grounds instead, and maybe another copy of Riptide Laboratory, because it actually seemed to do pretty well being able to rebuy the Secret Keepers. It gave us a lot of extra juice out of that card. Another thing that I definitely want to change as well, these, I just can't wait until the new Mill 8 comes out because it would just be so much stronger. And I think that the deck as a whole is okay. I really wanted to play Vantress Gargoyle as well. I didn't play it initially because with this, I mean, I'm not trying to win through combat damage, but I probably should play that as a nice, reasonable blocker. And it also just happens to have an additional win the game button on it by swinging for 5 in the air every turn. So once Zendikar drops, I plan on revisiting this deck, and we're definitely going to take it back into the historic ranks and see how we do. But that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoy it. Again, if you did, please consider leaving a like and a comment, as well as subscribe and hit that bell and a thumbs up for notifications for more content like this. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.